150.
One, two, three. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 18th of September 2024. It is the most important day in the history of cryptocurrency until next month, of course. And that's because it is the Fed decision day. What are we going to see from the Fed? We have our poll of the day. Are we going to go up or are we going to go down? We're going to have a look at some charts. I've got a really good post from X that I'm going to walk you through that kind of explains what kind of reaction we're going to get to the rate cut, but that comes later on in the show. We are going to go through the retail pump, why we moved up yesterday. We're going to go through the WLF founders. If you've been watching, you will know that Donald Trump's family is starting a DeFi platform. That's right. We're also going to go over DeFi tip rip. What is that about? Well, of course, if the markets see a reduction in interest rates, that makes DeFi more desirable. Will the DeFi tokens pump? We'll go through that as well. We're going to go through Ton's partnership with Curve. We're going to go through a $1 popcat. When is that going to happen? We're going to go through Trump memes. Again, we've not covered this for a long time. In fact, it was, around about the time of his first attempt that we covered it. So we're going to go back over that again. And of course, to start with, we'll go through the markets and the X-Files. So a busy show as always, and a few good mornings. Danny is in chat. Solo Sky is in chat. I'm going to sneeze 1 second. Excuse me. We have Packer, who apparently, for his sins, is a Liverpool fan. A little bit like our good friend in Australia is also a Liverpool fan. And they're having some lucky results at the minute. Let's just leave it as that. So who else is here? Danny, Solo Sky, Mags, I think, is here as well. Kishan is here, Hidden Agendas, Velvet Road, and the usual crowd. Remember, smash the like button and say hello. If you are a newcomer, just say hello. Nobody bites. Thank you, Packer. Also, bottom left-hand corner, we have just snuck above 167,000 followers. So we've got 33,000 to go between now and the end of the year. It's going to be close, but I think we might do it. The average daily new followers we need is starting to fall. So we are starting to get there. And of course, the title of the show today, do not 50x today. If you are a leverage trader, this is the worst day of the month to go deep. You do not want to try and guess the market. I don't care how bullish you are, how bearish you are. Honestly, it will absolutely destroy you. They will rip to the upside. They will rip you to the downside. They will liquidate the longs, liquidate the shorts. I don't want to be sitting here tomorrow talking to you guys about $1 billion in liquidations, okay? And if I am, I don't want any of you to be involved with that. It's not a day for leverage plays. This is a really delicate moment. And as I said, it's the most important day in the history of crypto until this happens again next month. I was born in Fazakerley, Liverpool, near Aintree Racecourse. I've been there only twice. I prefer Chester, to be honest. It's a little bit smaller and quieter. And Gesundheit, thank you, Danny. Right then, let's get on with it. We don't have time to be sitting here talking about Liverpool, especially when I'm a Mancunian. Market cap coming in at 2.08 trillion. Moved up a fair old bit. $77 billion in volume. I am expecting over $100 billion in volume tomorrow. Easily $100 billion tomorrow. Dominance, Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's moved up 70.7%. It was starting to break down a little bit, but it has pumped. Bitcoin, as you'd expect, back over 60,000. Ethereum, 2,300 hasn't followed as much. BNB hasn't followed. Solana still 130. XRP hasn't moved. Not many of the top 10 apart from Bitcoin has moved, or have moved, should I say. Nervos is up 16%. Potenza, Celestia, Immutable X, Binary, Beam, not too many gainers, to be perfectly honest with you. And losers, not many either. Arweave, Helium, Maker, nothing's really moving, is it? It's one of those, I think the market's holding its breath. We need to see some kind of movement. And we need to see some positive movement. But anyway, first of all, I'm hoping we don't break below 60,000 before the end of the stream. I wouldn't want to be that person, would I? Now, let's begin. Now, yesterday, I felt quite bad calling you all snails. I didn't mean it in a negative way. I was just saying that the markets were trying to keep us down. But wouldn't it be great if we were all bioluminescence? This is a real clip, a real video. Sometimes, just sometimes, I will include a clip of beauty from nature. And of course, we are all part of nature. And this is just absolutely beautiful. So today, you're not a snail, you're not a duck, you're not a baby cow, you're not a calf. Let's just admire the fact that we have a lovely, lovely world that we live in. Moving on then to crypto itself, there's a few of these things to go through. Another publicly traded company adopts the MicroStrategy Bitcoin strategy, which is Cathedra Bitcoin. The primary goal is to accumulate Bitcoin on behalf of our shareholders. This was the 16th of September, only 2 days ago. This was announced from Cathedra Bitcoin Inc. Again, expect to see more of these types of companies as the years go by. There will be, outside of the ETFs that we see, there will be special vehicles created that will, their sole purpose will be to hold Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, maybe other cryptos, but certainly Bitcoin. They will crop up over the next couple of years, certainly. Matthew, the game changes for Bitcoin if $65,000 is broken. Why? Because we've not had a higher high for centuries. It feels like centuries since we have had a higher high. I feel a little bit like the Lord of the Rings meme, which was I was there 400 years ago, Gandalf. That's what it feels like. We haven't talked about a higher high forever. If we break 65,000, is that going to be the start of the pump that we all want? You know, we're not greedy. We don't want a $200,000 Bitcoin in November, but a $70,000 Bitcoin would be quite nice. Now, Phantom, the Phantom wallet, which I've made videos about in the past, it's primarily a Solana-based wallet. They are giving you your own custom usernames. Okay, so rather than having 0x or 0AYY or whatever your address is, you can have at Liverpool are rubbish, at Liverpool won't win anything, at Liverpool will get knocked out of the European Cup. You can have anything you want. I've tried and tested this today and it didn't work for me. So clearly they're still ironing out the bugs, but it will be available. So make sure after the stream, if you've got a Phantom wallet, go over there and get yourself your username. Especially the sooner you get it, the more chance you have of getting your name. You don't want to be called at Liverpool 1962 11AA Now then, think. I was wrong about Bitcoin. When the CEO of BlackRock, managing 13 trillion in assets, admits he was wrong, you listen. No, I don't. Larry Fink was not wrong. Larry Fink told you it was a Ponzi scheme. Larry Fink told you it was a bad idea to get Bitcoin because Larry Fink wanted you to buy Bitcoin through BlackRock. Simple as that. He was never wrong. This was all a nice little bit of theatre that you see where people say, oh, Bitcoin, that nasty, horrible, scammy Bitcoin, don't buy that, that's awful. And then spend 3 years building a team to focus solely on digital assets, including, in the near future, a 24/7, 365 day of the year digitized exchange, which is what they're aiming at. So when he says he was wrong, no, he wasn't wrong. It's a fake one. It's where your little kid says sorry for dropping a glass of water and then drops a glass of water 30 seconds later. He knew what was going to happen, but he wasn't going to tell you how good Bitcoin was because he wanted it to be $15,000, $18,000. These people think you were born yesterday. okay? He was never wrong. It's BS. Now then, a couple of more of these, and then we'll get into, we're going to look at the DXY very quickly, and then we'll look at the Bitcoin chart. There's a few other things to look at. Rate cuts and Burr in 3, 2, 1. Now, lots of people don't agree with Plan B. That's fine if you don't agree with him. But his chart shows some of the things which I like, especially diminishing returns is on here. The cycles are on here. You can clearly see that we've had the repeat 2015, 2019, 2020, 23. What did we have? We had the bottoms, if you like. Look at the market now. What happens after we go from blue? We go to a burgundy colour, and then we go to red and yellow. That is the next spike. If you look along the chart, you'll see that we are close to the next leg up of the bull run. And again, some people say the bull run hasn't started. That's fine. They're entitled to their opinion. I think the pre-bull markets started in September, October last year. So we're a year into the accumulation phase, if you like. Now, IT Tech, I follow them. I don't include them that often on the stream. Packer would ban me from the channel if I could. I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't know what you're talking about. Snails are cool. Why are people on YouTube saying Casper will 50x? Has Phantom got a chance to 10x? Now, Phantom, I was very negative about Phantom. And then it changed direction. And they put Andrew Crongy in charge. I think Phantom's got a good chance of having a good bull run. I don't know if it will 10x. I'll have to look at it later on. Excuse me. I'll have to look at it later on. But as far as I can see, having Liverpool fans in chat, I mean that's as toxic as you can get, really. Liverpool fans. I mean. Anyway, so the reason I've showed you this is as succinct as possible. So if we cut the rates by 0.25%, the DXY, which we're going to look at in a second, in fact, we'll bring up the DXY in the background just to show you. I have no idea how long this stream is going to take. I am going to aim it for an hour. The chances are we might go over, we might go under. I always say this, and then we end up doing it by 12:05. But I haven't got a plan for this. So this is the chart that we've had on the screen. Is it in the weekly that I use this or the daily? I think it's the daily. Now, my mouse never scrolls in the right direction for me, and it is really, really annoying. There we go. So we've broken down. This is the kind of, I suppose, the support line, if you want. We came down to 100. We've bounced off it again as recently as today. This is the key area to watch. And again, the Oracle has changed it. There we go. This is the key area to watch. Depending on how the markets take it, which we're going to go and carry on in a minute, this could break down further or it could bounce to the upside. But let's go through IT Tech. A rate cut weakens the dollar because lower rates reduces the attractiveness of the dollar-denominated assets. In simple terms, if you buy treasuries, you're getting, let's say, 5%. Those treasuries will reduce to 4.75%, 4.5% tomorrow. That makes lots of other things more appealing. And maybe the UK or maybe the Eurozone or maybe Asia has a more appealing rate. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute when we talk about DeFi as well. So you kind of take your money out, and that taking your money out reduces the value of your currency. So there's a small chance that we break down by another 1%, say. Now, these are the two important ones. The S&P. The rate cut is beneficial because it lowers borrowing costs. We talked about this before. It lowers your mortgage rate. It lowers the rate of loans. It makes it easier for companies to borrow money at lower rates. Again, 0.25% is neither here nor there. We're going to need to see another 0.5% on top of that. But lower rates signal cheaper money, basically. Now, if the committee confirms an economic slowdown, the stock market reaction may be mixed or negative due to concerns over failing and falling corporate earnings. Again, this is kind of superseded a little bit by yesterday, where we're going to talk about that in a minute, where retail has done better than expected. What he wants to do is bring rates down, keep retail buying, but not to the point where inflation starts to go up. So it's a very, very fine balancing act. That's why I call him Crap Santa, because we're only going to get 0.25% today. And that will keep the markets, who expect it, reasonably happy. What is he going to say is the key thing. Not what he does, but what he says. Bitcoin, then, is seen as a risk-on asset. And that should change over time, but at the minute, it's risk on. Now, if the dollar breaks down, so if we start to see this, and maybe we don't come down too far, maybe we come down to this level here. And again, if my mouse scroller worked, I would be able to show you the next line down. We could wick down to about here. That wasn't a bad guess. I'm not far off with my squiggly, horrible lines. I am getting new glasses, by the way, on Friday, hopefully, so I'm going to be able to see 1,000 times better than I can now. However, even with new glasses, my drawings are still going to look terrible. So we could come down to this level here anyway, 99.6. What's that? Maybe a 1% drop. It doesn't sound a lot, but it is actually quite a big move. So lower interest rates will support the rise in risky asset prices, including crypto. Key factors. The tone, exactly. What is he going to say? Market reactions, important to observe the initial market reactions to adjust investment strategies. Again, it's as important to look at the rate as much as what he says, okay? I showed you Trueflation yesterday. That's got American inflation at 1%. That's the real rate, not the 2.5% that they're telling you. Now, that's awfully close to zero. And you do not want a negative rate. You don't want deflation, because that just contracts the economy. So I expect a really dovish, positive speech by Chairman Powell, where he'll come out and say the markets are on track, the economy's back on track. This is the first of a couple of rate cuts this year. We see the economy starting to grow next year. If he says that, we are all good. Okay, if he comes out and says this is the only rate cut this year, we are expecting more downside for unemployment. We're expecting houses. We need to see them cooling off. If he says that, we could see a move to the downside. Now, the big question, the $24 million question, or the $21 million question is, how is Bitcoin going to react? And this is why I've said that you really should avoid leverage today. Because although we are expecting a lot of positivity from the market, we are sitting dead on this midpoint. And yesterday, somebody said, are we going to go to 62,000? I said we needed to hold 60,500. We held it all day, all night, sorry, and we've lost it today. We're just above 60,000. We're probably going to break down. Where could we come down to? Well, this is going to be a massive bit of news. We could come all the way down to potentially 56 or even 54,000. I do think the talk of coming down to 45,000 at this stage, it's just not going to happen. If we do wick, then we've got the wick to 52.7 there, and we've got the wick to 49 there. You could, I suppose, what is it with using black? I mean, I ask you, who uses black? There we go. You could argue maybe if we're going to put in a lower high, we could wick down to 54,500. It's going to be volatile. That's what today is about. It's about being volatile. So expect maybe one direction on the announcement of the rate cut, and then another direction on the announcement of Chairman Powell's words. So again, just be careful. If I was you, I'd take your left hand and put it under your left butt cheek, take your right hand and put it under your right butt cheek, and I would sit still for at least the next 6 hours, 7 hours. Don't trade. Not financial advice, just my personal opinion. Now, the bullish news that got us to where we were last night, which is 61,000, is of course the news that US retail sales beat expectations. Good morning, Bullish Bull. I hope you are well. Hello, Eugene. I hope you are also doing well. Indeed, smash the like button. I don't know how many likes we've got, but indeed, press the like button. I haven't pressed it myself. I can't believe that. Very quickly, an update so far. Fed Day, up or down today? 79% of you have said up. 21% of you have said down. Well, at least we're all in somewhat of a bullish mood. Right then, let's move on. That's not an advert that I've put up. So retail sales beat expectations. Bitcoin bounced quite considerably. Ether bounced quite considerably. Everything else was just a bit mixed here or there. So retail sales, the total revenue of goods sold by retailers reflect, we know that, 0.5%. We said yesterday, I think it was BlackRock said, don't expect too much of a bullish move from the Fed. And I am on side with that. I think 0.25% today. I think 0.5% would be super bullish. So half a percent is more likely according to the experts. I'm not an expert, but I just know that Chairman Powell is miserable. He's like Scrooge. A low value suggests a decrease in the number of investors. The number of Bitcoin addresses depositing Bitcoin on exchanges has plummeted. That is a good sign. Again, yesterday I was showing you the Whale account on X, showing you that there was money going to the exchanges. And what happened yesterday? The market pumped. So $50 million went into an exchange yesterday. A few hours later, the market pumped. It's not necessarily cause and effect, but it can be an indication. We don't need to talk any more about this. I am not going to spend too much longer on it. We know what's happening today. We just need to hold our ground. Don't panic, number one. If we go to 55,000, don't panic. If we go to 65,000, don't go out and buy a Lamborghini. Eric Ten Hag, here's one for the Liverpool fans. Eric Ten Hag came out yesterday and said, I was not downhearted after we lost to Liverpool, the same way I am not overly excited by beating Barnsley. The point of the matter is that whether we go down or up in the short term is of no relevance. The longer term, 12-month plan is still hopefully that Bitcoin does potentially a 2, 2.5, 3x, 4x from here. That's still the plan. And there's a long way to go. We've got elections, we've got lots of stuff to come up in the next 12 months. This is short-term noise. If we do dip lower and you've got money on the side, that might be a good opportunity for you to go and buy Bitcoin. If we pump and other things in your portfolio pump and you want to take some profits, by all means. But your bags should be packed by October, whatever you do. If you sell a meme coin in the next few days because you're up 300 or 400%, great. Take the profit, maybe put it into Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever else you're interested in. But don't get overly excited or despondent. So who is behind World Liberty Finance? So Donald Trump has been promoting this family project. Yeah, that's very true. You lost. I forgot you lost to Nottingham Forest, didn't you? Who hadn't beaten you in, 40 years? Again, Arnie Slot, whatever he's called. Is he the great pretender? I do not know. So Donald Trump has joined World Liberty Financial, a cryptocurrency project advised by his kids and run by fraudsters and executives. What? Isn't this on... well, let's go through it anyway. The protocol is a thin wrapper around borrowing lending protocol Aave, which resembles the earlier Doe Finance. CoinDesk reporting has suggested that the project's WLFI governance token will be non-transferable and reserve 70% of the supply for the project's insiders, a truly massive amount that raises significant concerns. Several team members referenced ease of use and earning yield on stablecoins as justifications for the project's existence. Here we run down the major parties involved. So we've got the Trump family members. Eric Trump is involved. Donald Trump Jr. is involved. Barron Trump, who's that 6'7" giant of a son, he is also involved. And here we go. The Doe finance is kind of both the same thing. Now, I'm not going to go on in depth about this. What I would say is, very simply, if you're in crypto, then personally, and again, this is personally, I wouldn't have anything to do with a project that's set up by any kind of political individual. I would certainly look at Aave. I would certainly look at Camino Finance. I would certainly look at MakerDAO. I would certainly look at all of the other lending platforms, even Ondo or Swarm, anything like that. I would go direct to the source. What you're going to get with World Liberty Finance or anything like this is you're going to get somebody taking a cut of your yield. Now, whether Trump wins the election or not is irrelevant. It's a money-making scheme because, of course, that's what they're into. They want to make money. They're business people. Why wouldn't they? But if you're already in crypto, and let's say you hold Ethereum, why would you want to go and use a lending platform, for example? You're going to get 3% on Ethereum if you stake it natively. You'll get 6% on Solana if you stake it natively. If you're holding stable coins, the exchange you're on now will pay you a very reasonable return for staking your stable coins. So for the average or beginner to crypto, you really want to avoid anything like this. It doesn't mean it's not going to get adoption because they have big names behind them. And believe you me, if Donald Trump becomes the president of America, he of course is going to use his position to try and push forward World Liberty Financial. Is that a conflict of interest? Absolutely it is. But again, I wouldn't have started this article around running it by fraudsters and executives from failed and hacked projects. I wouldn't have started it like that. I mean, that's not... you kind of set out your opinion before you give the facts. However, it's too involved with Donald Trump. It's his kids. And we are in September. If he wins the election and he is inaugurated in February or March, it's 6 months before he becomes the president of America. The timing of this smells a little bit. Now, again, I didn't have a problem with his NFT collection. I don't have a problem with Melania having an NFT collection. But with this is a little bit too... It's too risky for me, simply because they can get hacked. There could be insider... We don't know insider trading. But my advice would be to stay away from it. And again, I made a video not too long ago, actually, about a project that was allegedly backed by... If I go down here, there was another project announced with Martin Shkreli and Barron Trump, and it was the DJT token. And I made a video, it's still there, telling you that this is more than likely a scam. So I think what's happened is they've moved on from doing this token and they've moved on to creating a platform. And again, in my personal opinion, is you steer well clear of stuff like this. Say in December we have a high, is it a good idea to sell half and buy back in January? That is a very good question. I think what's likely to happen is we are likely to get to a price where you will see crypto influencers telling you that it's the top. And whether that's January or February or December, I can't say. I am expecting us to get somewhere near 84,000 by the end of the year. I'm also expecting us to be somewhere near 100 to 110,000 by March, April, based on my terrible TA, of course. So is it a good idea to buy back in? I think if you know, historically, we've had 30% corrections in previous bull cycles, then it's safe to suggest we are likely to see 6 to 8 in this bull cycle. Now, I think we've already looked, and I think we've already found, is it 4 we've found already? So between now and the end of this bull run, we're likely to see at least 3 more. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, we run to $90,000 and we are raging towards $90,000. A 30% correction from that would bring us down to what? That's 27,000 off 90. That would take us down to $63,000. Doesn't seem unreasonable. So if you sold as we started to break up, and you say, okay, if we hit 84,000 or 80,000, I'm going to sell, and you miss it, and we go to 90,000, and you're kicking yourself in the, ankles. What have I done? Just like Liverpool blowing the European Cup this year, I've blown my bull run. If we come down 30% to 63,000, then you sold 20% above that. So then you can buy back in. Now, I'm not sure we're not going to have 3 more corrections. I think we're going to have maybe 3 or 4. I think we're going to have plenty of opportunity to buy back in. Bitcoin always gives you a chance. What are the chances of us going from 60 to 120,000 without a correction? I don't see it happening. And if we do correct to the downside, I'm not expecting us to come back to 48, but we could come back to 60s. So if you sell at 80, you're going to get a chance to buy back in. So it's a very good question, and you need cojones to decide when to do it. Do you sell at 80 or 84 or 86? Do you sell at those prices? How far along the pump do you sell? And again, that's entirely up to you. You could dollar cost average out over the course of the week. If we go 70, 74, 76, 78, 80, and you're selling 10% of the time along the way, and we do correct back to 60,000, then you've pulled a blinder. But I can't say it's going to be in December or January. All I can say is October, November, December, we should see a 40-50% pump. And if we see a 40-50% pump from here, that's 84 to 90,000. So that's all I can base it on. And it is a very good question. Are Man United in the Champions League? Not this year. Not this year. There's no point in having Man United in the Champions League every year, now is there? Because that wouldn't be special. Now, DeFi revival ahead amid potential rate cuts. A Bernstein report. We don't need to read too much about this. It's a little bit similar to what I was saying before about the dollar falling in value because there's better rates elsewhere. So DeFi is coming in at 67 billion. According to a report by Bernstein, DeFi could see bigger attention due to the rate cuts. Why? Because part of the reason a lot of these smaller banks have gone bust in America over the last 12 months is very simply all of the people that were depositing with these banks were being paid 5% by the US government. So why are you going to use a bank when you can go and use the government? So the drawdown on the banks has caused liquidity squeeze. It's put some of them out of business. If the US government decides to cut rates, which it's doing, it will push money towards DeFi. 0.5% is an awful lot when you're talking about 10 billion. You're talking about 500 million a year in difference. So expect a flow to the market, in my opinion. So the recent report could see increase in interest. So Gautam Chungani, Mahika Sapra and Sanskar Chindalia. Why did I attempt those names? The rate cuts ranging from 25 to 50 basis points on Wednesdays could make DeFi yields more attractive. I do agree with that. Stablecoins have gained momentum, valuing 178 billion. And yes, everything's been on decline. We don't need to talk too much about that, but I would expect an increase in the value added to the DeFi platforms. So rough rule of thumb, any token associated with a DeFi platform should start to do pretty well from now on. The same as when the activity starts to pick up in the bull run, the DEXs will start to pump as well. So DeFi and DEXs and even the aggregators and everything associated with it should start to go up between now and the end of next year, I think. But certainly DeFi is going to start to see inflows certainly over the next 6 months. Right, we've caught up a little bit. By chopping a little bit of that out, we can move on. Excuse me. Right then, the TON Foundation and Curve have joined forces to launch a new stablecoin swap. Remember yesterday we talked about SUI, adding native USDC to SUI. Without liquidity, without stablecoins on your chain, you can't attract really the big money. And when you do have stablecoins, you are going to need to attract a certain value of stablecoins. Now, looking down here, you can see what the stablecoins market cap is of the different chains. Ethereum, as I said yesterday, 84 billion. Tron, and I don't understand where the volume and where the value has come from. That has 60 billion in market cap, in Stable's market cap. And I don't know. I haven't done enough research on Tron to understand why it's so high. Maybe it's the Asian markets. Smart Chain has 5, Arbitrum, Solana, and then when you get down below, I would say Polygon in 8th, you start to get towards the smaller chains. The one exception down there, if you look at SUI and you look at TON 11th and 12th position, what are they trying to do? I would say they were certainly looking at getting into the top 10, so they'd need to add probably $1 billion worth of stable coins to get up there. For anything worth its salt, you really need to have $1, $2, $3 billion in stable coins. Solana, 3.8 billion, Arbitrum 4.6, they're more out of the way. Base, incredible, 3.5 billion. It just provides liquidity to the market to use some of these smaller platforms down here that have got 30, 40, $50 million in stable coins. It makes the market illiquid. You want to be seeing the billion mark, and certainly TON and SUI are starting to approach that. So they've started to join forces with Curve. This partnership will develop a stablecoin swap project based on the TON blockchain. It aims to transform the way stablecoin swaps are conducted, offering a more efficient and accessible trading experience by utilizing Curve Finance's CFMM tech. The project will use the constant function market maker technology, known for its ability to minimize the price impact during transactions between stablecoins and equivalent assets. I mean, one of the bugbears that I have, certainly with some exchanges, not all, is if I want to move $1,000 from USDT into USDC, it's going to cost me $10 or $20. It's absolute nonsense. Stablecoin swaps should cost you 10 or 20 cents. And it's a bugbear of mine, and it's a bugbear with one of the big exchanges that's out there. And I think anything that gets it close to spot within a few bips is perfectly fine. So, developed by an independent team, the project will be overseen by Michael Egorov, founder of Curve Finance, who will serve as an advisor. Egorov will assist the team with protocol mechanics and growth strategies, ensuring that the project aligns with Curve's financial standards and meets user expectations. A proportion of the new project's tokens will be distributed to eligible users through airdrops, including VECRV. We don't want to talk about that too much. We don't know anything about the airdrop. It could be fake. But again, good news. If you've got a decent swap, decent liquidity, if it makes your life so much easier for using the chain, then you are more than likely going to use it, and this solves one of their problems. You wouldn't expect to see slippage or too much slippage on the likes of Arbitrum, Smart Chain, Ethereum, Solana, even Base. You're not going to see too much. So for me, it's an absolute positive. And one of the big things I'll say about Solana was, not too long ago, a couple of years ago, you got a decent APR on providing USDC, USDT swaps on Solana. And over the last 12 months, that's gone really, really low. I think it's like you get 1 or 2% APR, simply because the slippage and the split, the rate that you get has come down so much, because Solana is a more used chain than it was 2 or 3 years ago. So if Ton can get up there, Sui can get up there, you know, we want 10, 15 different chains with $1 or $2 billion of liquidity on them, because it just makes life so much easier. Now, moving on to a meme coin. We've got loads of time. I was going to look at some charts today as well. Arbitrum is a good investment, yes. I would say, in my humble opinion, it is. I'm a big fan of layer 2s on Ethereum. I think Ethereum is the chain of choice for blue chips and the TradFi. And everything shouldn't be running on Ethereum. Everything should be running on the layer 2s. Arbitrum, Optimism, Matic, whatever it's called nowadays, Polygon, should have the majority of the transactions. So over time, I would want to see the likes of Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, the other layer 2 chains over there. There's a lot of layer 2s being created off Optimism's code. So there's a lot of work going on. And remember, the job of Ethereum is not to process all the transactions. That's not its job. It's to be stable, decentralized. It's to provide a solid basis for the dApps to be built on, for the layer 2s to be built on. It's the layer 2's job to sit there and process all the transactions and take the heavy work off Ethereum. That's the layer 2's job. So I would expect to see a lot of DeFi in the future on the likes of Arbitrum, certainly. And I think that's the way we need to look at it. There are some very large projects sitting directly on Ethereum. There are more opportunities, in my opinion, to start building on the layer 2s. And again, anytime, like yesterday, we were covering some news, Ethereum is dead. And I covered the news about the apps that are using Ethereum. I've seen a video clip today of, I don't know, is it Singapore 2049 or Token 2049? And Vitalik's on stage singing. He's singing. I mean, what's he doing? Again, he's a super intelligent guy. But please, please, for the love of Ethereum, you could not imagine Larry Fink sitting in a room with Vitalik Buterin, okay? It's just two totally different worlds. And we all know how this ends. No matter what people tell you, it always ends with the men in suits winning, okay? No matter how much you think that they won't, they will. And for one of the reasons I think probably Satoshi disappeared is because he didn't want to get to that point. He wanted a decentralized, proof of work, uncensorable chain. Ethereum needs a new leader. It needs a more, palatable leader, in my opinion. Charles is borderline. Anatoly is a little bit more acceptable. We've seen what's happened with Smart Chain and CZ. So again, my only issue for Ethereum is Vitalik, and I just think he just looks... It was great 4 years ago, and it was great 5 years ago, and I just think we need more people now. And I'm not saying necessarily people in suits. I just think we need more people that can talk at a different type of conversation than Vitalik can have. Now, moving on then. Eugene has asked a question. Sorry, Eugene, I missed it. Do I like the Say blockchain? I made a video about it, Eugene. I made a video about it at the start of this year. I can't bring up the video on the screen now because I'm not allowed to advertise my YouTube channel, because that's just part and parcel of streaming in certain places, so I won't mention it, but I have made a video about Sei. Do I like Sei? I do. I think it's taken a lot of the best bits of Solana in terms of the UI. It's very easy on the eye, and I think it needs to build out. It's a new blockchain. There was a lot of glamour and what was the other one called? There was a lot of projects running competitions, or whatever you want to call it, promotions to get people to use Sei. It looks really good, and again, it falls into the same category as Sui and other chains like that. It needs adoption. If a chain has no adoption, it's never going to work. A perfect example is Manchester City. They can have the best football team in the world, but they don't have the fans to fill the stadium. It's simple. You can create the best project in the world, but if nobody uses it, what's the point? There are inherent problems with Ethereum, with Solana, with Cardano, with every chain has its own problems. But in each of those cases, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Kronos is a good example as well. They've got communities, and those communities are battle hardened from the bear market. When you've got a new chain, it's like you sign a Brazilian footballer in the summer and you look at him and he's like, oh, he's two-footed, he's good in the air, what a great player he's going to turn out to be. And then it gets to November and it's snowing and you're playing Stoke away and he's got gloves on and tights and a scarf and a woolly hat, and he doesn't score for 8 games because it's too cold. The bear market is similar. What is going to survive a bear market? We've just seen a brutal bear market. We've seen the chains survive. Solana, Ethereum, the layer 2s on Ethereum. We've seen Kronos come through it. We've seen the smart chain come through it. Sei hasn't really seen that bear market, so it's not battle tested. Sui started, I think, last year sometime. Again, maybe this isn't their bull run, maybe it is their bull run. I like them both. I think they're going to do really well, but they're very young. They're very young. Both of those projects are very young. Now then, we can like most coins, but can only buy a few. I agree, Peter. That's what I say quite a lot. You can't own everything. And if you do own everything, then that's not necessarily the best investment strategy. You need to pick an 8 to 10 tokens, or if you're really adventurous, 10 to 15, 15 to 20 tokens. That's what you need to pick. I think when I did my portfolio review for the OGs, I think I've got about 12 tokens. That's it. And I love lots and lots of meme coins. I love lots of projects. So, you know, Peter has got Mantra. I love it. I don't hold it. I like Brett, which is the meme coin over there. I don't own it. Aero, the deck's over on base. I like the project. It's going to do really well. I don't own it. So even though I like those projects, I can't own everything. You can't own everything. You shouldn't own everything. And you need the discipline to decide what to hold and what not to hold. The only change I've made in nearly 2 years to that portfolio that I showed you the other day was I sold half of my Algorand and I bought Near. So I split my Algorand 50-50 into Near and Algorand. That's the only change I made to that portfolio since January 2023. So nearly 2 years, I've made one change. I've staked my Ethereum, staked my Cardano, so it's earning passive yield. Yes, I've done that. But I haven't swapped anything in or out. The only coin I've bought of any note this year so far has been Ondo. That's it. So you've got to be careful. Now, Popcat, Brett and Mew, my 3 picks for meme coins for this bull run. I like them all. I like the fact that they've got the opportunity to maybe 10x. I'm not saying they are. I'm saying they've got great potential to do it. So I don't hold Brett, I don't hold Popcat, and I hold a very small amount of Mu. So I'm not talking from the point of being or having a conflict of interest. The only meme coin I hold of any value is Bonk, and I think I've got $100 because I don't hold meme coins. If you ask me in the cold light of day, I think they're a waste of time. But the communities that build themselves around the meme coins make the meme coin a community coin, and then it evolves into something that's not a meme coin. So anyway, I've made a video about Pop as well and what my price targets are. So it's a Solana-based meme coin. Is it going to hit $1 in the near future? Now let me very quickly bring up memes and have a look where we are. I'm going to bring up the meme coin chart anyway because we're going to talk about it in a minute with Trump. So if we go to memes, for example, and again, when we talk about meme coins, you shouldn't have more than 2, 3, 4, 5% in meme coins. They're not here to, you'll see the odd story about somebody making $20 million. It's one person out of 60,000 making that. 59,599 people will probably lose money on it. Now, Popcat is here. So the 3 coins are ranked 80, 86, and 138. 730 million market cap, 670, and 375. If they were to all do a 10x, that would be 6.7 to 3.7. That is not outside of the realms of possibility when you look at the fact that Shiba is 7.7 and Pepe is 3. Shiba went to a $37 billion market cap in the last bull run. So I am not being overly optimistic with these targets for the bull run. However, Popcat to $1 is only going to give it, what's that, a 50% pump? That only puts it at $1 billion market cap. So already I'm in agreement with this article. So in this struggling landscape, can it hit $1? Apparently it's got a bullish pattern. Popcat outperformed top meme coins including Doge, Shiba and Pepe and many others. At press time, Popcat is trading near 75 cents. I think it's come down now to, what was I just saying, 68 cents? 69 cents. It's come down a touch since the article was written. According to expert TA, Popcat appears bullish and is currently at a crucial resistance level of 80 cents. Potential reason for this bullish outlook is the formation of a bullish cup and handle and chart. Now, again, everything we ever look at on here should always be taken into the context of what's going in the macro environment. If we see a 0.5% rate cut today, there's a very good chance that we will see a $1 Popcat in the next month. If we see 0.25 and a hawkish Powell, we're not going to see $1, okay? Charts will tell you so much, and the macro will tell you so much. And the charts help you when the macro is stable. And what I mean by that is, we've had a pandemic, the charts were all over the place. We've had conflict, the charts were all over the place. Potentially we've got more conflict starting next year, the charts are going to be all over the place. So although this chart pattern looks good, and it does, we break this resistance level at 80 cents, we are going to look at $1. Yes, absolutely we will. But not if what happens today goes south. Because if today goes south, everything that you are seeing will also go south. So again, with any of these charts that we're looking at today, Bonk, Popcat, Bohm, Mu, these could all be 10 or 15% lower tomorrow. They could also be 10 or 15% higher in a week's time. It's really hard to say on a day like this. Somebody said today, are we going to go to 44,000 or whatever it might be? My reply very simply was, ask me tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a better chance of giving a more educated guess on what's going to happen than today. Today, I've no idea, simply because I don't know what one man in America is going to say in 3 or 4 hours' time, or maybe even 5 or 6 hours' time. I don't know what he's going to say. And again, I might as well toss a coin. I could toss a coin and tell you that PopCat is going to be worth $1 by November. And I'd probably hazard a guess that I'm going to be 80 to 75% right, because it gives it long enough to wash out. My top portfolio holdings. We've got a few in here. Render, IOS, Ondo, Aero, GFI, NIR, Say, Multi-X, Velo, and OP is a really solid. That's a really solid portfolio right there. Peter's got Sol, Mantra, Arve, Aero, Radium, Lido, Jupiter. Again, really solid. I mean, the good thing is, if you were putting in here really low cap coins, I'd be worried. I'm not worried that you're going to lose your money. I'm worried that the lower cap coins, not all of them are going to pump. Not all of them are going to go 20, 30, 40, 50x. One might do, maybe even two. But when you're holding solid projects, Jupiter, solid project, Ondo, solid project, NIR, solid project, Render, EOS, these Aero, these are all solid projects. Arve, Radium, they're all solid, and they'll all do well in the bull run. I can't say how well. As I said, I've got an educated guess, but they'll all do relatively well. And what I try and do, again, my default answer is I'm not a fan of meme coins, but there's no point in me avoiding them because everybody on the bloody planet loves meme coins, so I have to talk about them. And therefore, my educated guess would be you need to look at everything on your screen now for potentially doing a 10x. Somebody mentioned Turbo, which is down here. Again, $330 million market cap. If that does a 10x, it's only 3.3 billion. But they're not all going to do 10x's. You might get 2 of them, 3 of them do a 10x. You know, Baby Doge could be at 100 million in 3 months' time. So could Mog, so could Meme, so could First Nero on Ethereum. They could all go to $100 million. Dogs, I think it's time's up. I think it needs to go to the kennel. I think it needs to be put down. I don't see any value in that token. If there was anything on my screen now, I would tell you to wholeheartedly avoid it would be that project, because I reviewed 2 other projects on the TON network over the weekend. I reviewed the Hamster Combat and I reviewed What's it called? Catizens. Both really good projects, and they're not clicky projects either. They're both fairly decent projects. Catizens going to have AI, companions by next year, and Hamster Combat's numbers are just astronomical. So both of those projects are going to do exceptionally well. I don't know how well in the long term, but in the short term, they're both going to do really well. So anyway, so PopCat to $1, very possible. A couple of minutes left. Let's just jump onto this one then. And again, there's 2 things I want to show you. One I've not brought up for a while, which is the political memes. So these are meme tokens, but they're also politically filtered as well. And again, we'll go through these again. Remember, if you're new here, smash the like button, say hello in chat, and for the love of all that is holy, please subscribe. It is like extracting blood from a stone, getting new subscribers at the minute. Believe you me, retail has gone. Retail was here in May, now it's gone away. We have no retail, we have nobody watching our videos at the minute. They've all got fed up and bored of Bitcoin going sideways. So anything you can do to help would be great. Right, Trump-themed meme coin spike following the interview on X. This was about WLF. How long have we got left? We haven't got any time left. So political meme coin surge on Tuesday. The meme coin market went up 2%. This was after his interview with his sons. They didn't hold back. They called Kamala Harris a nasty name. The president praised cryptocurrencies, explaining his ventures. MAGA went up. Trump Strump and MAGA, all of them went up. Now, we haven't got a lot of time. I'm going to very quickly show you something. MAGA was at $5. It went to about $8 or $11 at one point, but it went to $8 during an attempt. I told you not to buy it at $8. Wait for it to go back below $5. It's at $2. If you like meme coins, and if you want to bet on a winning horse for this election, then in my opinion, you haven't really got many options because the price has crashed so much. You've got MAGA, you've got Trump. They would be my two picks for meme coins. I certainly wouldn't be looking down here at, I think there's a Kamala Harris one. It doesn't even have a market cap. Again, if you want to and again, it's betting. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It's based solely on who's going to do well. I think MAGA and Trump and maybe even Strump will pump as we get towards November. If we have our pump October and everything starts to rip, then these meme coins are going to go up. If you want to make a few quid and you wanted me to give you my picks, it would be MAGA or Trump. They'd be my two picks. Anyway, thank you. Let me just go back to chat. Everybody just tuning in. Peter just bought $500 of Flux. I thought you hated Flux. Anyway, I'm going to get going. I have other things to do. I've got a few videos to make today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, we still managed to get to 12 o'clock. We get there on time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Eugene. Who else has been commenting in chat? KB, Packer, everybody else, you know who you are. Thank you for tuning in. Also, there was supposed to be a $1 giveaway tonight on Mew. I reached out to Mew. They are currently at the Token 2049 conference. So if we do the Mew giveaway, it's going to be next week or the week after. I am planning another Kronos night. That will either be next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. Trust me, we are trying to do some Wednesday night giveaway shows, but it's so hard at the minute trying to get money out of people to give away to you guys. It is like, it's as hard as getting new subscribers. So thank you, everybody. I will see you in the morning. And remember, sit on your hands. Left cheek on the left hand, right cheek on the right hand. Don't use leverage today and get burnt. Last piece of advice. See you all soon. See you, Chris. Bye-bye.